good afternoon and welcome to Nigeria Now on Echo Television International, where we look at some of the issues that have been happening in the nation. I am Sele Elisha Dasham and I'll be doing the program with Rachel Tanzi. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Afternoon, Sele.
All right, and to our viewers over there, remember you can join us live on Facebook and on YouTube and then drop your own views and also your contribution on some of the matters we will be discussing this afternoon. And we'd love to start with the issue of the Kaduna bombing. The federal government have promised that they are going to punish the culprits that are behind it. We've seen that even the Ariwa Consultative are coming out to say that they should remove the GCO over there of the Division 1 over there in Kaduna State. And a lot of people actually having different perspective about it. Khan have spoken, Sultan, and a lot of people adding up their voice to the issue of this is carelessness of the highest order coming from the military. And Rachel, we started this story, I think, about since Monday or Tuesday or so, because we know this incident took place on Sunday at around 9 p.m. or so, when the Muslim faithful were actually having a celebration. We said one or two things about it, the fact that the military actually should have done their own investigation properly before carrying out that assignment. We are aware that they were trying to eradicate terrorists. Of course, it is their responsibility. But then, along the way, something went wrong. It's either they didn't get the intelligence right, or actually a lot of people have said this is carelessness because they should have actually done the right thing. And right here we are seeing that the federal government have actually promised that the people behind it, they are going to make sure that they are being brought to book, they are being punished, because yesterday I think we saw in the paper that about 171 persons, but then from Wednesday down till today, it seems the number is just a little above 80 people were dead, and then about over 70 people are injured. We've seen even children are part of the people. We saw one of the survivors say he lost about 24 of his relatives also. So it's a big one, and we've seen that the vice president represented the president over there, promising them that in fact, while the president was out of the country, he called over 17 times to know how the people of Tundubiri are doing over there, and then to be sure that they are well taken care of. The vice president have promised that, and there's this new initiative they are working on developing of the community, their hospitals, their veterinary clinics and all of that, and he has promised that that community will be the first to actually benefit from it. But then beyond that, I mean, a lot of Nigerians will also have their own point of view. I mean, a lot of places have been attacked over the years, so why are we having this community seems, quote unquote, to be given a special treatment because of that? Of course, the whole nation is actually very sad. In fact, it should be declared a state of mourning, that we should mourn the people that died there. But then, I mean, the federal government have spoken actually, so it's left for the rest of the investigation to be done, and then I believe that the people who actually carried out that operation carelessly will actually have to listen, or actually have to answer to the law eventually.
Yes, Ella, there's so much surrounding this story, and then as things are unfolding, just more and more is being revealed. And then when I see the promises from the government concerning what they will do to them, I just smile, because why do we have to wait till something tragic happens before a government start making promises of giving these people facilities that they are supposed to have access to, that is their rights as citizens of that place and as indigents of Kaduna State? But it's really sad that that is the kind of government we have, that until something tragic happens to a community before they become recognized and start getting or having access to basic amenities. I mean, but that put on the side. And then there's a lot of speculation also around the whole bombing, because a lot of people have their conspiracy theory about it, that is not a mistake. But the fact still remains, if the people who carried out the operation, that is the army, are saying it is a mistake, then it is a mistake.
Of course.
Whatever you have, except if you've done your investigation and you have substantial evidence or proof to show that, you know what, this wasn't a mistake from the military, then you should bring those proof forward and let Nigerians know that this is my finding. I have investigated. I am a private investigator. These are my findings, and then it wasn't a mistake. The army are covering up one or two things, but until the army says otherwise, they have apologized, and we are seeing that the ACF is asking for the GOC of 1 division to be removed. But Sele, removal is not the way forward, because it's not one person that is involved in this kind of operation. So it's just like how I keep saying, we beat around the bush rather than solving the situation from the roots to stop it from repeating. We are just
cutting
trying
down
to
the branches of the entire.
exactly, Sele, because okay, you remove the GOC. Was he the one that brought the information? Because someone brought the information. You have your intelligent army officers out there. You have your military police out there who are in charge of going out investigating, knowing that okay, you know what, this area is this area have that, this area have that. By this time, you have intelligence that gave you this information. Who were those that brought the information? Because by understanding, this person is giving orders based on the information received. So who brought the information that turned out to be false? So when you want to probe this, it's not just saying let the general officer in command to be removed. It's not for that. It will just be us. Just, okay, yes, you remove him. What next? Tomorrow, another mistake bombing will take place, and then we'll just keep removing the commanding officers or what? But how is it that the military is not getting their intel right, that is leading to the deaths of civilians? That is where the problem is, because whether we like it or not, it portrays us as incompetent to the world. Because now we are seeing international organizations telling us to use AIs and all of that, even when we know that AI is not yet perfect yet. But yet, because it has gotten to the ears of international bodies and organizations, and it shows our incompetence, because it's not the first, it's not the second, it's not the third. This is many, just within the span of 2 years. So what is the problem? Why does the military keep making certain mistakes that they shouldn't? This is where the problem lies. So when you are investigating and probing, it's not just the dismissal of one person. Call everybody that was involved in this operation and do the needful. One person cannot just go. If the person that brought the wrong information is still there, tomorrow he will bring another wrong information, and another civilians will suffer for it. So I just believe that let's do things right. When we want to investigate, let's investigate. When we want to go to the root of a problem, let's go to the root. Let's do everything thoroughly, Sele, and then that is the only way we can grow.
You know, Rachel, just like you said, I think everybody have a part to play. In fact, from the government down to the military, I am going to blame everybody. If you ask for my personal opinion, of course, my personal opinion does not count in this matter. But this is what Nigerians believe, because eventually, if the government had given, because according to the military, they are lacking in certain things that they need. So possibilities that their intelligence was actually analog. And I've said this not once, not twice, the fact that if we want to get a different result, Rachel, we have to try something different. The world is moving. We are no longer in those times, 10 years. In fact, every day things are changing. And so if you're trying to work with terrorists, let's take, for example, what is happening in Hamas and Israel. A lot of people said that because Israel was actually quite advanced. But then the way Hamas took them was actually unexpected. They looked for something more analog, and Israel did not see that coming. So now we have to make sure that whatever we want to do, we want to tackle terrorism, let us make sure that our own intelligence is matching up with the people we are fighting. Ahead of them. Because it beats you to see that each time these terrorists are always ahead of our military security. So you wonder what really is happening, that our security operatives are not competent enough, just like you mentioned here. So I am hoping that beyond the government vowing and saying, yes, the culprits will be brought to book, but let us see that when you're pointing one finger, I keep saying, four are pointing back at you. Look inwardly. What is the military lacking presently? What is the Air Force lacking? Because we've had issues before. This is not the first, not the second, not the third. We've had a lot of deaths being recorded as a result of mistakes. We cannot keep taking medicine after that. We keep saying we have to prevent things. Let's not always look for the correction after it, but prevent it from happening. So I hope that our Nigerian government will realize that it's not just about blaming the military, even though they have a part to play in all of this, but they let us see that we prevent that from happening henceforth by making sure we get every information correctly. Now, we're looking at the fact that talking about accountability, the Lagos State Water Corporation have sacked 450 workers. Right now, there's panic over there, and this took place. I mean, they issued them a letter on the 28th of November, saying that the people, mostly casual workers, and there are casual workers that have been working there for like 5 years, 10 years. A lot of people have even forgotten that they are casual workers. In fact, according to report being gathered, they said that some of the people that are still working there, that this issue did not affect them, actually panicking because they never can tell who is next. With the way things are moving, we are seeing that a lot of casual workers are not present, and that is a big company. Now, the question here, Richard, is what went wrong? Are they not supposed to have been given a warning letter? I think if you're saying that, I mean, there was a breach of contract or things did not work as it should be, what was that contract in the first place? Because except if the workers, 450 is a big number, Rachel. I don't want to believe that this whole number did not know what to do to the point that they are actually victims of what is happening to them. We are looking at more number to the unemployed youth we're having in Nigeria. 450 is a big number just in Lagos State.
It is.
So, Rachel, I just want to have your take on this issue.
I mean, Sele, from what the spokesperson for the water works in Lagos is saying, is that a lot of these casual workers or contract workers were given employment that violate the law and work laws of Lagos. That is, at most, if you are
Condition
a
of
contract or a
service over there.
yes, conditions of service, you're to be there for at most 2 years,
Of course.
and then you'll be permanented. And a lot of them have been there for like 5-10 years. Now, first of all, from the staffs at this place, is that they are understaffed. That ever since these casual workers have left, we're seeing where they just have like one cleaner or very few, and the place is already understaffed. Taking out these 450 is understaffed, and this spokesperson is saying that they are trying to do a cleanup for better employment and all of that. And I am seeing the gaps, in as much as this statement from the spokesperson for the waterworks sounds legit and genuine. I'm looking at the gaps in it, and it's on that basis I'm going to say a lot of things. Number one, if their terms of conditions for work or is violating the laws for Lagos workers and all of that, you've had people that have worked with you for 5 years, 10 years, you're not supposed to lay them off. You're supposed to give them permanent employment letter. It's that simple. It's that simple. You change the status of their employment from contract to fully employed, because in the first place you need their services. That's why they've been there 4 or 5 years. And this also reveals a lot of things in our system of corruption. Finally, there is about to be a cleanup, and you are seeing that there's a need for employment, and rather than just directly employing these people that have been there, you are now laying them off. Because the typical way we do things in Nigeria is somebody now wants to be an opportunist and start making money with some people on fresh employment. You already have these people there. Why are you going out to
Or
look?
bring somebody that you know personally to actually
Exactly. I see all of that trying to be in place because it doesn't make sense. All you have to do is permanent these people, give them the letter that change the status of their employment to permanent staff or not contract, and then automatically you are now adhering to the laws or terms of condition or whatever it may apply in this case. So why are we seeing the opposite of what should have been simple? Why are you laying off people that have worked with you 5-10 years, even managing to be contract, when after 2 years at most you should have given these people job? And then finally, when something is good is coming to this workplace, that okay, it's time for a permanent employment to take place, you are laying off these people. And for me, it only shows the gap, the ingenuity in our system of corruption, and when we are now trying to bring in job racketeering into the system, because you already have these workers at hand. It's just for you to upgrade their employment status, and that is just it. But we're seeing a reverse as being the case, and just putting people in a position that they shouldn't be in an economy where we find ourselves. We are seeing 450 people added to the 5,000 from the PNG,
and then already before the PNG, we already have over 30%
I mean,
unemployment rate in the country.
What are we doing? it's not supposed to be in the first place. So I just hope that the Lagos government step in and do right by these people, because we've had these cases in the past. A lot of people have been laid off by things like this, and it is so not right. I mean, I want to use a word, but that word wouldn't be fit for what we are doing right now. Exactly. But that is not right, and it shouldn't be done like that. It's a very simple process of just moving from one level to another. You maintain the same people and we move. You don't have to do what you're doing. It's uncalled for. It already shows that, you know what, these people are up to something and they want to do bad by these people and not do right in so many ways. And I just hope that the necessary authorities step in, speak up for these people, and eventually what it's supposed to be should be as it should in Lagos State when it comes to water works.
And I think this should be not just in Lagos State, for other states that are also doing the same thing. We had a case like that also in Plateau State, where certain workers were being laid off because they said things were not put in place. And we can actually see that it's all the fault of most of this corporation. I mean, if you want to have a review, review it. What is the terms of condition on that contract? What are the terms of service for that work? Let the people be in the picture, know this is you. You don't just wake up and give a letter and then, I mean, make some people unemployed. Finally, before we close the show, we've seen that Dangote is doing us great. I mean, we remember when he opened the refinery, saying he will be starting soon, and then yesterday, he has gotten his 1 million barrel of oil, which is going to start working now. This is to say it's good news for Nigeria, because finally something is being done concerning our oil sector here in Nigeria. So I think it's the right thing. And even as Dangote have started, we are hoping that the government will also do right. I mean, we are waiting for Port Harcourt, we are waiting for Kaduna, we are waiting for Warri and other refineries that are actually lying idle. But the government will fix it, so that, I mean, to some extent, we can actually have a breath of fresh air. And then looking at the fact that things are moving for us in this country.
I mean, Stella, when it comes to the whole refinery thing, it's all about the next step for the Nigerian government. As in, we should be excited that Dangote refinery is up to 650,000 barrel per day crude oil capacity, and then we've seen that it has gotten over 950,000 crude oil, liters of crude oils to the refinery. It is good news. However, it's not for our government to sit down, Sele. It's a wake-up call for them, because as good as this might sound, is not enough to meet our capacity even in the country. So it's time for the government to say, okay, you know what, 1 down, 4 more to go. And it's one after the other. And then by next year, we can be 2 down, 3 more to go. And before you know it, in a space of time, we will have 5 running refineries in this country. Then that is when they can breathe. But as it is now, don't just give us news of Dangote getting crude oil. We want news of our refineries functioning, exactly. And that is what we are all expecting as Nigerians from the government.
Well, Rachel, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Sarah.
And thank you to our viewers and supporters for keeping the day with us on Nigeria Now. Until we come next week, to have a blessed weekend ahead.